on the 9th of June 2024, the vocals of praise came together for Sing to Save Derrick concert. This was a concert geared towards raising funds that would help Derrick in his cancer treatments. For most people, being diagnosed with cancer comes with so many unknowns, and for some, it is almost a death penalty. But that was not the case with Derrick. For him, the diagnosis was a big sigh of relief. And so today I am seated with Derrick so that he can walk us through how his cancer diagnosis changed his life and how the treatment journey has been so far. So, who is Derrick?
So my name is Derrick. My other name is Omondi, Derrick Omondi. I have a bit of a background in communication. I studied communication. I've been writing for about 5 years. Also ran a blog site on the side where I've been writing my story. So basically that's where I have been before this.
Interesting. So earlier on we were having a conversation and you mentioned that you were diagnosed with cancer and it was a relief for you. So I want to take us back to that moment when the doctor came to you and said you have cancer. What was that moment like for you?
Right. So I'd say that was the greatest confusing moment in my life because I felt relieved. I'd suffered for a very long time. I'd gone through immeasurable pain. I'd gone to different hospitals trying to see how I could find a relief to my pain. And so finally I had a solution to my problem. I was told you have cancer. And actually we have something to focus on as doctors. So to me it was a relief. I felt like now finally they have something to focus on. But I still had pain. So it was stepping into worlds of unknowns, but at least with some glimpse of hope, and clarity, and at least you're focused to the treatment and all that. So that's why it was a relief to me.
Oh, that is interesting. Now, you see, for most people, and known to many, cancer is one of the most costly medical conditions to be found with. Take us back on how that journey has been for you, especially from the cost perspective, how you managed and how family and friends, played a role in that journey.
All right. So my story is a little bit different. First of all, I come from the humblest background. I mean, you can't even use the word poverty to describe my background. You have to add abject poverty to it. So when I had the diagnosis, I literally had nothing, no savings, no family, huge amounts. We couldn't afford even something as little as 5,000. So we had to hold fundraisers for my treatment. But my friends encouraged me to just start the journey with the little we had. So I remember going through this journey I would always fall forward. I mean, I was going through pain, but I was looking at the end goal. So we did 18 chemotherapies. We did 12 radiotherapies and 3 surgeries. But to say the least, it was overwhelming. I mean, I had to be there and show my friends that I was going to make it. The meltdowns were crazy. The treatment side effects were, another level. But we did it. And I think without my friends in the first phase, I would have managed to get where I was.
So for somebody out here who might not understand, when you mentioned 18 rounds of chemotherapy and about 14 rounds of radiotherapy as well, that means money has to be found for each session, right?
Yes.
And there might be situations where somebody is not able to raise that money. How does that play out as a cancer patient? How does that feel?
So that was a normal occurrence in the cancer world. I mean, you could meet some people, then along the way you realize that they've disappeared. And upon inquiry, you find out that maybe they started and couldn't finish because of financial challenges. So I actually count myself very lucky because we kept on doing these small fundraisers. We kept on reaching out to friends. They're actually friends, no family backing for anything. And we would raise whatever we needed for that particular, sessions. So to me, I was going through a lot. The pain was, crazy because I had a tumor on my left leg and it had gone to my lungs. So I had crazy amount of pain and I was on crutches. And I remember one thing that kept on running in my mind was that if I tried to show my friends any sign of weakness, they might find a reason to continue supporting me. So I kept on showing that I was going to make it, that I was going to do it, despite the challenges we were facing, despite I would go to the hospital. They told me, you are very weak for a chemotherapy. You need to take a day off, you have to take a week off. and those are challenges. So it means you have to rally your friends again, and there's some there's how, asking money, I'd call it begging. There's
Come with
how,
shame.
yeah, it comes with some
Yeah.
amount of shame. You have vulnerability. You feel like you are answerable to so many people
At the mercy of somebody.
and the
Yes.
mercy of someone. So I had to endure that close to 40 different times, because there are also other costs there are drugs that I have to use at home. There's transportation, there's the food, the lifestyle is kind of different and a bit expensive. So yeah, so I thank God for the grace and for the kind of friends that He gave me.
Yes.
We are able to overcome that.
So you mentioned that during this phase, you basically feel like you're the masses of other people, right? And then your body is weak. The medication is taking a toll on you, but you have to put up that brave face, and keep doing this. How does that affect you emotionally and even mentally?
So actually, to say the least, there's a way it kind of messes up with your mental psyche and even physical psyche, to a point where you feel like you are too much on someone's table, you're too much on someone's on calls, and you're asking too much. So it affects you. The fact that you are unable to support yourself, well, you actually so you have to prove yourself that you actually need this kind of help, and you're gonna it's gonna make some difference, and so that's what I was going through.
Must be hard.
It was.
Yeah. And without mentioning names, of course, when you depend so much on somebody, they might feel you become a burden at some point, right?
Sure.
Is there any point that your condition resulted in losing friends or even family?
Well, I think one thing, I mean, the society has this warped way of looking at things.
Yeah.
So there are people in the society that actually do not even know how to talk to a cancer patient, because they say probably I don't know anything about cancer, so they avoid talking to you. It's like a situation where you have someone in the same room, and they get out and talk to you through the window. They don't want to talk to you in the same room. So this is a case. There's a friend of mine, someone who used to be very close to me. We have each other's numbers. We used to talk. So this guy, instead of asking me what was the problem on my phone number, he went to another social media app and messaged me from there. Somewhere where he knew I could not access, regularly.
Who he was.
Yes. So and understand it. I mean, at times you probably don't have something much to offer. You don't have the best comforting words you can give someone who's going through. So I lost so many friends, but there are those the solid ones who stayed by my side. My family was there despite the challenges they were also going through. Initially, we had a series of sickness in my family. My mom has been sick even up to now. She has almost the same problem. My sister had been sick, but they still stood by my side. But there are friends who actually, for the fact that they didn't have something to give, so they felt they just chucked her.
They couldn't remain around you because they felt like they couldn't offer much to you.
Yeah, which actually is understandable.
Yeah, that happens. Now you see, before VOP comes in play and we have this Sing to Save concert, walk me through that period between your diagnosis and Sing to Save Derrick. What leads to Sing to Save Derrick?
All right, so remember, before Sing to Save Derrick, I had undergone that
full cycle of
treatment, with the hope of actually seeing the green light. Actually, when we were going to do the what you call the PET scan, which is now seeing how the treatment has progressed and whether you're getting relief, I had hopes of wearing my shoes again, because I'd been on crutches for about.
Also, you were not able to walk without.
Yeah, for about 3 years. So I had hopes of wearing my shoes again. I mean, I was still feeling overwhelmed with the pain, but the fact that I'd done all these treatments, the 3 cycles, actually, in cancer, they say it's a trial process. So you do the first cycle, you do the first line of chemotherapy, you do the second line, you do the first one. If it doesn't work, you go to the second one, then you go to the third one. So third one, to my understanding, is the last one. So it means,
beyond that, there is nothing.
you've exhausted the limits of treatment. So I couldn't take a moment to think that the cancer was going to be back, because I knew there was no any other treatment option for me, locally available. So when I'd done all this, and we took a break, I did the PET scan, and they told me the cancer had recurred, and it was in huge magnitude than it was before. So that was really, really overwhelming. I think it was the hardest time in my life, because here I'd talked to these friends, they had rallied whatever they had, they supported me. My family had their own issues. I didn't want to bother them with finances.
Yeah.
We had no assets or anything. So literally I was there waiting for my day, because it was in cancer world. It's very normal. There's something called there's a point where you reach and you're told that you're not gonna make it beyond this point, and you are taught how to make peace with that.
So basically, what you're saying is that when you did the PET scan and it was discovered that the cancer is still there and it's even bigger,
yes,
you gave up.
Yes, I gave up because I was required to do a set of immunotherapy and a targeted therapy, which is way much expensive here in the country. So we couldn't afford that, even a single session. So I said, okay, what I'm gonna do, I'll wait for my day. I'll wait for it to. I would manage it with some drugs, but it cannot really do much. So it gets to a point where the effects of drugs also comes down, all that. Right. So I was literally waiting. Because I read a lot of philosophy books, and one of the books I read a lot is by a philosopher called Epicurus, and he talks about death. So I was making peace with that. I would read that where he talks about death does not affect you and all that stuff.
You see, let me just stop you a bit. You see, the thing about life and what wakes us up every day is the hope that I'm going to be doing this thing today, I have to do something else tomorrow. Now, when you're preparing for death, how does it look like on a daily basis? If you're actively preparing yourself mentally that, I'm waiting for that final day. How is that like?
Okay, so one thing I'd give myself credit for is that I always, even in my lowest moments, I always look forward. I always, the time would be, I always fall forward. Even if in my dreams are the things might have appeared. They appear that my world was coming to an end in the next few months, but I always had some aspiration and some dreams. So I was writing my story out there. I was documenting every move. I was telling people. I was creating awareness. In as much as I was preparing for because it was inevitable. I mean, you have cancer and there's no treatment option. You have no money. Definitely, you are waiting for death. But I always had hope. You
never lost hope.
I never lost hope. I would still reach out to friends, to organizations, talk to other survivors, and tell them how whatever they're doing, whatever treatment they're doing. So I still had that hope. It was hanging on a thread of a thin thread, but it was there regardless.
We're grateful that you're still seated here today, and definitely that day didn't come then. Many are times in life where we hope and expect that friends and family will be the last resort and come through for us, but sometimes it is not possible. Now, take a minute and imagine that you're Derrick. You've had this journey for about 2 years, taking medication and treatments, and you have this hope that the final test will reveal that you're healed. But the test gives a different outcome. Your cancer is back and it's even bigger. And while you're almost losing hope, somebody tells you that a group of strangers, led by the Vocals of Praise and the Umoja 2 youth, are going to bring together a team of strangers to help you lessen the burden that you have. How will that be? Derrick, now walk me through what it meant and how it felt when you realized that, VOP are planning something for me. What was that like for you?
Right. So first of all, I had it as a rumor, because I think they started planning it way much earlier, but they didn't tell me about it. So I had someone talking about it, and I was like, no, that can't happen. Because I'd seen what VOP was doing. It was big. They were doing it for people. It was changing lives, and I never thought they could actually do it for me, because it sounded too big to be true. So when my bro comes in and tells me, VOP is planning something for you, and they're gonna do it in 2 months' time, I was like, no, that can't be possible. So they actually asked me. This is the funny part. The estimate for my treatment was around slightly over 2 million. But I remember the first time they asked me the estimate, I said it's 300,000.
You give a lower figure.
I give a lower figure, because I said, if I tell this guy it's 2 million, they'll tell me.
So you had this fear that if VOP realize your bill is too high, they would walk away.
So
you had to lie. So
yes, I had to lie. I had to lie so that maybe they could do it for me. I just needed that little amount maybe to do
Cover a few
something,
things, yeah.
cover a
Really
few things.
makes sense.
So, and so I think one of them called us and said, you said 300,000, but I feel like it's way much more than this. So they actually set the figure themselves at, and even when they did that, I still couldn't believe it. I told myself
it was possible to raise.
It was possible within that. It was a very short timeline, and I think there were also other events going on. So there were a lot of things. There are a lot of things that were going on. There are so many people who didn't know me, and I was wondering, how are these strangers gonna raise this amount? And in the history, I think my fundraiser was the most successful in the history of
it actually is.
Yeah. So I was trying to compare stats. If you did this, they raised this amount for people they know, for their friends, and they're introducing me to their friends, who are my strangers. So I was wondering. But anyway,
the numbers for you weren't making sense. You didn't think it would be possible to raise 2 million shillings.
No, that was the wildest of dreams. So, but I think things took a very, very dramatic turn when they started doing the challenges. Because I remember the initiative, once everything was set, they started doing challenges, and there was a wave in social media. People would repost the story. People, would rally their friends. It was emotional. I tell people that I still have problems listening to that theme song, because it was I couldn't believe that they have even gone ahead and recorded a song just to promote this event. So that was huge, and I thank God for that. Yeah.
Looking back, it's on the 9th of June 2024. Walk me through that day, that morning, coming to Moja 2 SDA Church, the entire concert day, and how it ended. I remember it went up to around 8-9 p.m. in the night. Walk me through that day.
Wow. So the day, from the weather forecast, it was looking good. If you remember, a bit of drizzle here. But from I wasn't in the best state health-wise that day, because I'd started some treatment. I'd just done another PET scan, I think, a previous week, just before the event, and they told me there was some problem. The cancer was progressing, so I had to start some quick treatments. So I was not feeling good on that day. I had some meltdowns. I had some side effects, but I had to be there. Actually, remember, my mother traveled all the way from Migori to come and join us. I didn't want to come, but the organizer insisted that she must come. So this, because there was another event that was going on.
Yeah, there was
and I was wondering, how are we gonna make it here? How are these people going to split? The celebrations the other side, and
show up for me.
And there is what we call in quote begging going on here, organized begging going here. So how is this going to happen? And it was really, really overwhelming to see people. Granted, these are 75% were people that I didn't know. There are some I'd seen online. I had never met them. We were not friends. Probably they had my story. They decided to help, and they came and they actually helped. They raised, the huge chunk of money was raised on that day. This choir sang and they brought their contribution. So to me, that was so emotional, sitting there, seeing people coming in, and I had to, convince myself that I'm gonna make it. I didn't want to think of, this treatment is not going to be possible or anything. So it's a day I still remember to date. It's a day that gave me lifeline, literally. And above, even besides, them raising that money, and I think what stood out was the kind of love that they showed me, the support, to a total someone you just heard about, and it showed me that there's strength in coming together as a community, and just doing that as a community.
Actually, to put this into perspective, I remember we got the news about Derrick 1 month before June 9th. I remember it was around mid-May, and so 2 million was a big goal to achieve. Sure. And I understand we did almost raise the entire amount. Now, what was that like for you? How did that event and the outcome of it change your life or impact your treatments now that you had a recurrence that was even bigger than what you had been treating before?
So I honestly feel like without VOP, without Sing to Save Derrick, probably I would have maybe succumbed to what I was going through, because it also takes a mental toll on
Yeah.
you. You start
Very good.
aligning your thoughts to whatever you're going through. So that was also taking me down the drain. So without that, I would have managed to get to this far. So that money did a lot, despite the fact that we didn't hit the target. It was close to the target, but it did a lot. I was able to do another surgery. I think I did surgery immediately, a week, I think 7 days after the fundraiser. I was able to do immunotherapy, which is quite expensive in the country, but I did 6 cycles of immunotherapy, which actually, assisted me to boost the immunity to, fight the disease. And so that contribution, that money did a lot to me. It saved my life, and that's the reason why I'm still, talking seated here today.
Yeah, and if you could just briefly share, where are you currently in your treatment? Are you fully healed? Are you still undergoing medication? And how is it going?
Right. So one thing about cancer is that it plays a lot of games with you. You get better and you feel like I'm
okay
off the hook. And I remember every time I go for this test, I'm always high spirited, because there are things I aspire to do. As a
young man,
as a cancer survivor, there's a way it ties you to down. It ties your life down. There are things you can't even attempt thinking, because I'm gonna manage this with my treatment. So after the fundraiser, I think I did some treatment. Then I took a break, did a PET scan, and unfortunately, the last PET scan I did confirmed that the cancer had recurred. It had moved from my knee and from my foot and moved up to my knee. So we have a recurrence in the knee area, which unfortunately requires only PET scans and only targeted therapy and immunotherapy. So so that's the state where I am right now. We still all hoping that help will come, and I'll get the right treatment. And like I said in the concert, I'll finally stand in front of people and tell them that finally I did it. I managed to beat this monster, and I'm free of cancer. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that day.
We strongly believe and pray, continue to hope that you will fully heal from this. Yeah. And there's somebody out there who was there on the 9th of June last year. They don't know you, they've never reached out. And there's somebody else as well who's going through what you've gone through. They've probably given lost hope, right? Yeah. Somebody might not even have the funds to undergo the medication you're going through right now. If you were to say a word or speak to them based on your experience and where you are right now and what your aspirations are and the hope that you have, what would that be? What would you say to them?
Right. So first of all, to anyone who supported me, be it during the concert or before or after, whatever kind of support you've offered, monetary, prayers, or just working with me, I want to say a very big thank you. You actually gave me a reason to keep on fighting, to live. You actually gave me a lifeline. And to someone who is going through this murky waters of cancer, just being diagnosed or being, going through treatment or you have stopped because of finances or other issues, I have a very unpopular approach to life. I live today. I usually don't think about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care about itself. We only have today to live. Actually, tomorrow is not promised. So I just advise you to take one day at a step. Just do what you have to do today. Just if you feel like whatever you want to do today, do that today. If there's someone you want to talk to today, don't think about how I have my treatment in 14 days. How I'm gonna do it. Just live today. Just make sure you pray for the day, and everything will align in place. One day at a time. And I'm praying for you, for the caregivers. They're often forgotten, but they do major. They do a lot of work. For the caregivers, if you're taking care of a cancer patient, if you looking after someone who is in remission, someone because that's another thing about cancer, because you never know when it's coming back. You might be in remission, but feels some slight headache and you're like, oh, it's coming back. So there's that anxiety you are living with all the time, any pain, anything. So I just want to talk to you, just keep the hope alive, keep praying and just do what you gotta do today. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about, the future and anything.
Yeah, you mentioned prayer, and as a Christian,
Yeah.
and who's gone through this situation, prayer is central to the journey, right?
Yeah.
Are there times when you feel or feel like the Lord has forgotten you, and are there times where you feel like you want to give up in this Christian journey, or how has it been for you spiritually in the journey you've been walking?
I think when I started, probably I would say my faith was not that strong, but because when I had my diagnosis, I felt like God had some sort of favoritism.
Why you?
Yeah, why me? And because, what happened in my family, because I feel like even more people in my family had that line of cancer. So I was wondering, like,
why is it your family?
Why is it my family, and why me in particular? Because they are my siblings, they are my cousins.
But of course, you're not hoping that it will be somebody
No. But I was just asking myself because I felt like, I remember reading this Bible verse, the common Jeremiah 33, and I had so many interpretations about it. Like, is God, trying to shortlive people? Why am I going through this? So that kind of shaken my at the beginning, kind of messed up with my faith. But with time, I learned that God is doing this for a reason. There's a reason why I'm going through this. Actually, to surprise you, I've since my diagnosis, I think I've been able to do a lot in terms of even talking to people, in terms of even learning, because you have to, meet these survivors who give you hope. They tell you stories, and it also tells you that, while does all that, there are times that you'll feel, these happy moments, and there are times you're going down the drain, there are times you go out there asking for help. So it has been able to give me all that scopes of life. So in everything, I always give thanks. And I know God is doing this for a reason. And I know the fact that he chose me to go through this path, he is probably aware that probably I'm going to make it. So I'm grateful for this. He granted it, and I'm fighting it, and it's providing strength. And I still believe that we're gonna make it.
Yeah, there's something I like telling myself anytime I'm in a bad situation, that God is in this story, and if He brings you into a situation, He's going to walk you out of it. And the Bible tells us that the Lord will not put you to temptation that He doesn't believe you will be able to overcome. That is what we learn in the Bible, and it's great to hear you have a similar belief that despite the situation you're in right now, you're not looking at it from a sorry state, but you have this hope, and you're continuing to fight, for better days, and hoping that everything falls in place, and trusting the Lord. Now you're a part of VOP, basically you're a family, and you understand we have this celebration coming up in November, and Sing to Save, we hope and pray, is going to be bigger after that. What does Sing to Save being bigger mean to you?
So it really, really excites me, because Sing to Save being, expanded to be bigger means that whatever was done to me can actually be done to someone else who is in my situation, or who, doesn't even know where to begin, or maybe taking care of a patient. So it gives me joy that a Sing to Save initiative can grow to become this big initiative that be able to help cancer patients, survivors, family members, or caregivers, and give them hope, put a smile on their faces.
So thank you so much, Derrick, for your time. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And we continually pray that the Lord, keeps guiding you in this journey. We have this hope and faith that at the end of it all, you become victorious. And once again, asante sana for coming. And I look forward to seeing you at VOP at 10.
I'll be there. Appreciate it.
And so that is Derrick's story. And as I'd said, it's rather weird, for lack of a better way to put it. And now, for those who might be hearing about Sing to Save for the first time, Vocals of Praise will be celebrating 10 years in ministry on the 2nd of November at the Kasarani Indoor Arena. And this is not just a concert for the sake of, having merry and rejoicing that we've been, around for 10 years. It means so much to us as a group. and also for the community. We are doing this, and proceeds from the ticket sales, from all the money that will be collected, will help us establish Sing to Save Foundation that will be a more impactful and even bigger initiative that can go beyond Derrick and go and serve, help even more people out there, giving them hope, showing them that somebody actually cares for them, somebody minds about their journey, and it is not over as long as you have the chance to keep fighting. So once again, thank you so much for staying with us. We look forward to seeing you at VOP at 10. So you were there on the 9th of June, 2024. You saw the planning, the prayers that went to that, and how the day unfolded. What stood out for you the most?
You know, June 9th was a culmination of immense planning. And it culminated into an event that was unprecedented. Some things that I saw there, seeing young men working together like, you have seen a beehive. Yeah. Working together so hard to make an event successful. Wow. And then there was that, there was a palpable sense of unity amongst the team and of course the audience. So it was an event to remember. It was a sight to behold. Further to that, I will also say that it was a great demonstration of determination and grit and dedication from the team. And they came up with a plan. Later we left it with fervent prayers. And later you saw what happened. It was
true.
Yeah.
So you've been in ministry preaching for years now. And most people assume that ministry, you go to church, the pastor preaches to you, the choir sings, you sing, congregational singing. But on that day, it was ministry in some sense, right? Now, what would you say is the power of this kind of ministry where people go out of their way to help somebody else, even somebody, somebody they don't even know or have a relationship with?
That day it confirmed unequivocally the power of, I would say, the power of music or talent that is led by compassion. Because of course, everybody sings.
Yeah.
Everybody sings. Choirs go and do concerts. Yeah. But this is one of a kind, where we are not just going to benefit from it, but we want to benefit somebody else from our own effort. That is compassion. There's a difference between pity and compassion. So we didn't feel pity towards Derrick, because pity is when you stand aside and you feel like, wow, this guy needs help. But compassion is when you lie down with him and make sure that he doesn't pass out until 999 vehicle comes.
Now, you've also, as I've said, you've also been with us for the longest time. You walked this journey with VOP. In your own perspective, what has Sing to Save been? And as we mark this 10-year celebration, where do you see Sing to Save going, or what would be your hope for Sing to Save as an initiative?
Sing to Save, in my perspective, today I will say that it's now a movement that leverages on the power of music to draw people to attention. And not only that, to even push people to action. Because in the world that we live in today, there is a lot of division. And even your own family members may fail to help you. But Sing to Save goes beyond that. And to me, I would think it's a project, but what we always need is sustainability. And the fact that VOP has reached a level where they can sustain Sing to Save for all this long, it is testimony of dedication. It is evidence of people who want to work for Christ. Because when Jesus went, before Jesus went away, he said, "If you did it to your brother, you did it unto me." And you can do it for God, but there is somebody who does it unto the Lord. Those are two different scenarios. So what VOP is doing it unto the Lord. And it's becoming a beacon of hope for so many people. It is becoming a channel through which we can express ourselves, we can express our compassions, and we can truly bring a difference into people's lives.
I concur with you 100%. And in relation with Sing to Save, VOP on its own does the music part, which is ministry on its own rights, right? And Sing to Save is something different. as we get into this next decade,
Sure.
okay, and as we hope that we're going to be even bigger with Think to Save, what is your hope for the group? Not just Think to Save, but not the people who've come together, different personalities, different mindsets, different ambitions in life. They've come together to do this ministry, both as musicians and the compassion bit of it. What would you speak to them as they move into this next phase?
The 10 years have been a testament of dedication of unwavering grit.
Yeah.
And looking at what VOP has been up to, my belief is, there's a slogan when we used to be young, we're going to say, forward ever, backward never.
Yeah.
When we look at the fact that it has been 10 years of grace, when I say grace, I mean this, that when people sit together and decide to help somebody else who is unknown to them, who is not even a friend to the group, it just showcases the kind of grace that somebody expresses. Yeah. And in this case, I will say this. In VOP at 10 is a moment for us to celebrate. Because I actually want to celebrate those people who have put in their effort all this long for 10 years. We have heard wonderful voices from this group. We have heard wonderful songs. And sometimes people ask me, who is this guy who composes this music?
Yeah.
And I tell them the guy is called Lulu. So they wonder, who is Lulu? Yeah. Of course, we have heard other composers. Yeah. But of course, Olu has been our main guy, and his genre of music is special and different there. And you remember Derrick, when we celebrated Derrick, Sing to Save Derrick, Olu came up with a song that, for the first time after a long time, I shed tears because the content of the song, wow, it was from the top drawer. Yeah. So I want to say is that it is incredibly important for VOP to continue with this trend. Yeah. Because Sing to Save does not only address the fact that somebody has a problem, but it also encompasses the fact that we need to look out for who is needy, as opposed to just going to a concert and doing our thing and doing our Eastlands thing. Yeah. No, we need to look further than that. So since it's becoming a sustainable process, we believe that this will be accessible and through talent and creativity, laced with compassion, it will give birth to something even major and bigger than what we are looking at.
Amen to that. And now, you're well known to be, mostly associated with the young people. You enjoy being in the company of young people, and you understand the challenge that the young people in the church today face. It is not as it was 10 years ago.
It's different.
And there's a young man, young lady out there who's probably, lost hope in church or lost hope in their walk in Christ. And they're out there looking at VOP and other groups that are doing these initiatives. I want to speak to them, before they give up, okay? Or as they are almost giving up, say something to them.
My encouragement to young people is this: don't keep quiet, because your voice may be the only weapon that somebody else needs to rise up from where they are.
Absolutely.
And some of them are at rock bottom, and what they need is your voice to get out of that. I also want to say this: hone your craft, because most of these young people are very talented. I have Gen Zs in my house. They're very talented, and you hear their frame of reference is sound. It's sound, and if they could follow, if they could be led and their talent harnessed, and the craft honed properly, the result will be immense. So I want to tell them that it is time for them to, most importantly, stay true to the message. I will advise them to ensure that they are not pushed down by us, because some people who are maybe millennials, maybe baby boomers, or
the older
generation, the gray hairs. Yeah. I'm gay also, but I'm sure I can give a chance to a young person to showcase their talent and do something with it. So let them not keep quiet. If they need support, they should seek for mentorship. but they should not stop working. Because there's something that we have a problem with. Sometimes young people do not know how to move from their old selves and now soar to the next level.
That is powerful.
So these people need somebody to hold their hand.
Yes.
But unfortunately, those who are supposed to hold their hand are the same people who fear to be replaced. Now, leadership demands that you train somebody who will replace you. But the unfortunate thing is that those who we are supposed to replace, they will rather cough as they sing than allow another person to be a chorister. I don't know if you get my point.
Totally get you.
And that's where we get it wrong. Because young people should change the narrative, so to speak. And the narrative that we set may have been a narrative that worked during our time, but it's no longer sound. We need another narrative, and the trumpet should make a different sound now.
One more thing before we end this. There is something you mentioned about coming together, and currently in the church, there is, you will say, somewhat some sort of division between members, leaders, even within choirs, division and whatnot. And my school of thought is that we're able to do way more if we come together, right? Align ourselves. We might have differences as individuals because of different personalities and whatnot. But as a unit of Christ, how important is it for us to love one another, work together? That VOP can go out there tomorrow and work with heavenly echoes easily, right? Without any form of, kinyongo, for lack of a better word.
You remind me of June 9th. Derrick did not only get money to get treatment.
Yeah, absolutely.
That event also united two groups, belligerent groups, so to speak.
Yeah.
And when these people came together, it was a moment that was led by the Holy Spirit himself.
Totally unplanned.
We did not have an idea about it. Then Lamek Nyakwarnyar British, if I have pronounced it properly. I'm not a Luo. But Lamek Nyakwarnyar British was led by the Holy Spirit to mention heavenly echoes and lighthouse who are in the house. And because at that time there was a lot of animosity between the two groups because they had just parted for some reason, for the reasons that we know. So then Lamek called them to sing together. These are people who had vowed never to see each other eye to eye. But how heavenly echoes rose up to come and sing with the lighthouse. It was the power of the Holy Spirit at play. Then something else. It just proved that indeed we can be Christianly and follow Christ by not having enemies, or rather by even loving enemies. And as we speak now, that event changed the mindsets of those two groups. Now they can actually even invite each other. Was it not for Derrick, that would not have happened. So I will say this as an old person, that when we are in this ministry, we should not keep enemies. In this ministry, we should embrace the love of Christ. And the love of Christ will quicken our actions. And everything that we do will not be from a selfish endpoint. It will be from a source so deep, covered by his own hands, a source so deep that comes from the cleft, where God himself is, God's hand himself is covering. It is possible for us to work in harmony and do the right thing, not because we are good, no, but because we are enabled.
Together. Thank you so much for that. That's very powerful. And my prayer, and hope as we even celebrate these 10 years with VOP. No, it doesn't mean VOP or groups out there who've been together for 20, 30 years don't have challenges. But as we walk this, journey with Christ, it's important for us to always remember to be together, to love, and it does better, right? Now, finally, we're celebrating 10 years. Right? It's been a journey. There are those who are there from the very, very first day. There are those of us who joined a year back or 2 years back. And it's big for us, right? But there are people out there who are looking forward to coming to this VOP at 10 celebration. Most of them maybe because, it's a big concert, right? Pastors of Christ are coming, generation and whatnot. What would you say to them? Why should they come to VOP at 10?
Allow me to face them, the view, and tell them this. Most of the time, us Africans are accustomed to to looking at ourselves as low. Because in Africa, there are things that are termed to be low and things that are termed to be high. If a group came from the US, we'll be trooping there because it's a group that comes from the US. But have you ever realized that at our position, we are also as high as the Lord can say? And the one who has the biggest say on us is the Lord himself. So nobody, even in their lowest position, who can sing a praise of the Lord with the worst of the voices can be discarded by the Lord himself. God listens to them. And in fact, God himself is glorified. This is what I mean. Irregardless of whether we had ambassadors of Christ, Stand Music or Jomireso, the point is simple. We have organized for you an event that is mind-boggling. When we go to heaven, we are told the mind has not seen. But today I want to tell you that Kasarani, you haven't imagined what you're going to get from there. Personally, I'm not normally a person who is mesmerized by everything, but I know the things that I have seen. I'm telling you the truth. You will miss out on something that is really immense, something that is really out of this world. Come to Kasarani, you will not regret it.
Thank you so much, Pasi. It was a great honor to speak to you, and we definitely look forward to fellowshipping together as VOP, and hopefully, as we keep walking this journey, we'll scale to greater heights, and we are super grateful for how far you worked with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Leo hii tatushindia.